What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Speed Lab. About to have a fun day. We're going to review film before our meets coming up. Okay. So, the very first film that we're going to review is from Brian Howard. Let's review this. So, Brian used to be one of my athletes. He's still running. He says pin relay, anchored pin relays for Greater Philadelphia 6164 for Brian. Team gave him great cushion, so they won the indoor national championships. Indoor 400. Wait, what they win? Oh, he held off the indoor national 400 meter runner. Okay. A fast 200 meter start was the key, exactly what Coach Chase taught me. Thank you. But you did all the work. I'm just the guide. So let's just watch real fast. Set up already. So that's Brian there. Let's see his leg. We're going to watch his leg.
Over 60 years old.
60, impressive. Nice and open on the backstretch there, Brian.
Down that back straightaway. It's still Greater Philadelphia Track Club A team.
Oh, and you're catching that team.
Giving chase with less than 200 meters. Southwest Spiriters are trying to kill.
Nice. Oh, here he comes. I guess that's the indoor 400 meter champion coming behind Brian. Brian's not giving it up so easy.
Pick the knees up. Come on.
Pick the knees up. Come on. What a race. What a finish. Nice job, Brian. Great job. Okay, let's move on to our next film session. Let me get my thing plugged in here. Okay. Who's first? We're going to wait for maybe Casey's here. I told her to meet me. Let me see what I need to do. Casey, you here? Pulling up some film right now. Okay. There we go. Good, except for I need it to be this way. All right, let's get this film in. Okay, so let's see here. Hopefully Casey's here or she'll be coming by soon. She just left a message for me that says, let's read it together actually. Okay. So Casey says, not improving. Let's figure out why. Switch back to my old spikes instead of Adidas. Can't get the left leg low heel recovery. And I go up before my arms move still. Currently on a building phase with training, so I'm hoping as I get stronger, things will correct themselves. Okay. All right. Let's see. Low heel recovery is like, let me see what you did. It's probably good enough if I have to guess, but this is my first time looking at it. So let's go over it live, Case. We'll go with this one. Okay. Should I go this way? No. I'm gonna go this way. All right, let's see Casey start. Okay, so Casey first came to me with like confused about which leg to put forward. She started with her original leg was her left leg, moved to her right leg. Then I suggested that she moves back to her left leg. So let's see what is going wrong here for Casey. I mean, this is a great position, in my opinion. The flat back, nice and connected to these pedals. You got your shoulders over your hands. Let's see what the mishap is here. Okay, that's not horrible. I think I know what it is. Again, good positioning in the blocks. I don't know, Casey. I don't know. I agree that these are so bad. I like this. Okay, there's a little bit of false movement there. A lot of that could be related to strength or just not doing enough reps of these. This one's good. This one's better than the last one. What I'm looking for is that. Okay. It's actually a bad line. I'll draw that again. Yeah. That's nice. Step down. The arms do look a little out of sync, but that's something that's just solved with reps. And then you don't continue to push. And or open up. Your jump leg is much better than your non-jump leg, right? Like the left leg pushing looks much better than the right when the right leg pushes, in my opinion. Not horrible. Yeah, I don't know, Casey. I don't know that these are so bad. I like these. I think, like you're saying, it's time in the season where you're just building up to things. I wonder what you're tracking to say not improving. I would love to know if you have metrics or how you feel, like why you feel that way. Can't get the left leg low heel recovery. Can't get the left leg. Okay, so from your comments, what you said is that this leg doesn't get low heel recovery. Let's watch. Boom. I mean, it's not horrible though, right? Like, you're still in a good drive position. Okay. Sure, it's not the lowest heel recovery, but if you freeze frame the professionals or do side by sides of slow-mo of, let's see. Who should we look at? What's up, Juju's Gaming? How's it going? We'll go slow motion. Ooh. Who is that? Slow motion 100 meter. Yes. Okay. Okay, so Casey, you look at your start. Okay, I know what you're saying about low heel recovery, but I'm going to show you why. Like, that's the ideal thing, that kind of picture perfect thing when you are requesting frame by frame coaching. That's what I'm going to look at. But in reality, do the fastest women in the world do the same thing, or do they have their heel come through as you've had it? Now, I mean, the way that I'm answering the question, maybe it makes sense. Maybe you already know the answer is that they also do this same thing, but you're not getting full extension off that right leg here. Okay, you can get more open than this, and a lot of it comes with time, strength, and training. I'm curious if you ever do any kind of band work to get your glutes activated before you do this kind of stuff. And like I said, your jump leg looks a little bit better than the other leg. Okay, here's what I'm looking at: like, how much distance are you covering over these starts? Okay, so we go from the block here, then from that step to this step. And from that step to this step, right? These lines look a little bit not even. They look pretty even. I'm not gonna, but that step looks short to me. Could be the camera angle, of course. But you know, when you push off the right leg, it doesn't look as even or as powerful as when you push off the left leg. Now, how would you fix that? Bounds and sled pulls as needed, given that we are a master's athlete, right? This is what I wanted to show you in comparison. Okay, so same deal. Let's watch this. It's going to be her. This is Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, one of the GOATs. Watch her right leg come through. Does she do low heel recovery like you mentioned? Okay, this is a nice position. I mean, this is not too dissimilar from your own position, Casey. Look, she does the same thing, right? It cycles through, but look at how much extension she gets off of those pushes. Push, 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 push. She just floats forward. Very powerful. Is she an Olympian? Yes. Is this in 2011 when she's probably 20? Yes. Those things matter, right? But look at the length and the distance she gets when she drives. Okay. Now let's watch ourselves here. Okay. Again, I'm a fan of this. And don't worry about the low heel recovery. I'm only making this point, sticking on this point because you brought it up in the comment. I think you're doing great. It looks very similar to Olympian Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, but look at how much you don't cover it. Look, you're not even really off this foot before you're stepping down on the other foot. Okay. So this knee needs to drive through harder to get you further down the track. So think of anything that can be where that's the case. Again, I'm a huge fan of bounds, alternate leg bounds. I'm a huge fan of sled pulls to teach you exactly what this is supposed to look like. And like I said, the left foot, much better covering distance. Look at how you come fully off that foot before the right leg begins to step down. You push fully off this leg before this leg begins to come down. But on the right leg, you don't do the same. Okay, Casey. So my advice would actually be to, my advice, Casey, is to try some block starts at 75%, 80%. Keep good form, but focus on covering distance. It should be not too challenging at the percentage that you're going. You should be way more focused on covering the distance of the track. I know you can do it because you're an excellent jumper as well. And then you speed up from there to go to 85%, 90%, still trying to cover that distance until it becomes natural and flows all the way through your drive phase. Okay. I hope that helps. Currently building. And you, like you said, you're just starting. Don't think too much. Like, I'm doing all this frame by frame stuff, and at the same time, I still have to remind my athletes you can't think too much when you go to sprint. Otherwise, it will not work well. It will make you slow. Okay. So let me see who else we got. That was Casey. Casey, if you stop by or you're still here, please let me know. Next, we have Himothy, Kim Jong Un. I don't think that's his real name, but that's his name in Speed Lab, which is okay. Let's see what he says, because we had a nice lengthy discussion. Where are you at? Maybe. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that guy, we will watch this in a second. This is a 200-meter PR, I believe. Yep, I'm in lane 4. He runs 21:06 out of Texas. Texas has some heat. So Kim Jong Un, you got to be rolling, and you are rolling, and I can't wait to get to that. But before we do that, they did share some film with me. What did I give you? What advice did I give you? Let's see if I see the same thing here. Let me see if I search. Oh, here's where we had our discussion. Got it. Okay, so the last pre-film, he dropped some things. I was wondering if I need to change or work on my intent after the initial 10 meters. I've been developing a new start, trying to improve my power application during the start by almost feeling like I am taking bigger steps than usual. Casey, this is a little bit of a tie back into what we just discussed with you. However, after 10 meters, I don't know if I should continue with that mindset through the rest of the drive phase into max velocity. They shared a start with me. I said the number one goal at 10 meters is to be in a great position. The number 2 goal is to be in the lead. So I'd much rather you be in a great driving position at 10 meters and working towards your top end speed coming later than be standing straight up at 10 meters in a bad position and be in the lead. He says in the first video, felt like he accelerated more efficiently to top end speed without trying to feel fast. So this is the same concept of covering distance that I've discussed. Okay. And it's something that this athlete is dealing with, even though they run a 10:48 and a 20.9, which is blazing fast, right? But still trying to improve. So we had a very lengthy conversation. Let's get into the film. All right, Himothy, let's see. Okay, so this is again a 10:48, 20.9 out of Texas. Looks like there's about 4 of these for you. What do we see? Okay, let's look at all the reasons why this athlete is fast. Okay, 10.48, 20.9, great times. Let's explore why this athlete is able to do that. First things first are going to be the arms. Well, I guess not first things first. Okay. So Him Jong-un. I wonder what your real name is. Is it Him Jong-un? Look at the back foot. That could be connected to that back pedal a bit better. That's first things first. Looks like this maybe was mid rep, so maybe you were. Great extension off that first block. Boom. Arms. Arms nice and separated. Okay. So let's see. Now, this is what Him was asking. You see these lines on the ground? Now, Casey, this is going to be good for you to notice too. Are you here? No, still not here. Okay. These lines are going to be markers that this athlete is trying to get on their drive, right? Look at how much distance they're working to cover in 3 steps, as opposed to being focused on like trying to be fast with small steps. I see it so often. And it's funny that it's the theme. I don't know if it's the theme of the week or what, or if I just see it now that I'm focused on it, but I've seen it a lot with my athletes this week. Okay, nice and open. Falls a little short of that marker. Good. Okay. Now, what am I looking at here? Now, what does this leg do? Does it drive back down? Does it hang around and wait for the track? It drives back down through the track. Very good. Good. Same question here. Okay. We got the full extension there. Now, does this foot drive back down into the track, or does it just hang around and wait? It drives back down into the track. Arms are still aggressive. Still aggressive, still big. Look at that. Just maintaining this goal of gaining distance per stride, That's what the block start and transition is about. It's about gaining distance per stride so that when you stand up, max velocity is just covering the most amount of distance in the least amount of time. So if you're thinking that max velocity is way more about how frequently you touch the track, then that's incorrect, because you can be very frequent. Your frequency can be high, but if your strides are small, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay. So I think that was rep 1 that he discussed. And this one, let's see. Let's just watch it. Yeah. Not getting the same distance, right? And this is what they contacted me about in the very first conversation we have, which is that they're really working on covering distance. And you can see the difference here. Not covering as much distance. This is a perfect example of trying to be too fast that it actually hurts the athlete, and they don't cover as much distance as when they're not trying to be fast. Does that make sense? I think so. Yeah, much shorter with the push off. Okay, look at how they don't get fully extended here. All right, look at this. he never actually pushes all the way off, although it's not horrible, right? I mean, they run a 10-4, so it's going to look pretty good to most people, but here's what we can actually do. Okay, so these are the two different ones. Now, let's see. Can you play these at the same time? I don't want to get copywritten either. Let me turn this down. Okay. Now look at the distance to this mark on the first one. Compared to this, look at the distance on this one, right? Much bigger distance. I guess much shorter distance covered in this example over here compared to this example. On the left, he's covering way more distance and maybe a fraction of a second slower, but it's worth the payoff. He's way more patient on the left and way more rushed on the right. And if I had to guess, whenever they are in a race, they run more like they are on the right, but they need to be more like they are on the left. Okay. Now, you can also see it in the patience or impatience of this leg action, that versus this leg action. Way more patient in pushing the track behind them on the left. Okay. And as a result, okay, look at this. Right? Look at that distance from this line, painted line on the track compared to this. It even works in the reverse order. Look at this painted line on the track. Look at the distance from that. And this is the same painted line. It's the same day. Just a difference of being patient in the drive phase versus being way too quick and impatient. Impatient. How does that go? How am I supposed to say that? Okay, you get the message. Like, this is on the left is very nice, open, beautiful strides, very patient in the drive phase, very patient pushing off the track. Okay. And then on the right, not very choppy, trying to be way too fast. They end up getting a little bit into better rhythm as they go to sprint. But this initial drive here is just way too fast. And it's very helpful to have these comparisons because when someone runs 10-4, it can look very pretty and you don't know where to go or what to do. But in these two examples, it's very clear that they need to be patient. I mean, you can see it even full speed, right? As fast as they're running, that looks much more rushed and short than this does. That looks powerful. That looks like they're going to set up the race for down the track. The first example looks like they may actually be in the lead slightly at this point, but they don't have anything to carry with them down the track because they didn't push properly here, right? That kind of looks like you have nowhere else to go but top end speed. This looks like you can continue to build with that to top end speed that comes much later down the track, okay? Now, I want to do this even though it's not the most fair comparison because not only is Casey a Masters athlete, but Casey is also a woman, so it makes a little difference. But Casey, look at your drive, right? That's the quickness that I'm talking about that makes it so that you have to come to Speed Lab and say, hey, why is this weird? Well, look at you're trying to be frequent touches instead of being explosive and long. Okay. Look at the difference, right? again, I understand that this is a 17, whatever year old guy. But you could still see the impatience in your drive and in your push. Especially there. Especially that step is short. I don't have any problem with the left step. The left step looks great. It's the right step that's giving me trouble. Okay. Let's see where else. He loaded more. How come I have four? Who is this? Oh yeah, this is the same athlete. Let's see this. Different angle. We got some cones over here. What are we going to guess? 10 and 20? Maybe. I like that. 10. We got cones at 10 and 20. Let's see what they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Him Jong-un. This is just the name that was given to me inside of Speed Lab. If that's your real name, let me know. If that's not your real name, then maybe I can call you by your real name. But you're in Texas, and the competition is great. So you don't have many chances to kind of get a feel and a flow of what it's like to be long and open inside of a race, because every race you have in Texas is going to be you don't have time to figure things out. I mean, I'd say that cheek and tongue, there should be some meets planned by your coach where we're just working on some fundamental things. Doesn't matter what place you finish. Obviously, not like qualifying meets, but if you can learn how to be patient and open, great things will happen. That 1046, 1048 that you ran will become 1020 soon. If you learn how to just maximize your ability to cover ground as quick as you possibly can. Okay. Now, what do I think about this? I don't know. I actually think it looks very good. Very patient. Now, if that cone is at 10 meters, then you did not drive long enough. But it's very possible that it's not 10 meters. I actually highly doubt it's 10 meters because it was probably 30. You start going at 3.8 and you get to that cone at 8. Yeah, there's no way that that's 10 meters. So that's probably a good drive phase, actually. That transition can be a little more smooth, right? You go straight from driving. Like right about now, you should be, you kind of do, actually. That was nice. So smooth, I didn't even see it the first time. That was a nice transition, okay? If you're curious what transition is, it's just from drive phase to standing up and sprinting. Now, you run a little stiff. You run like a football player. I know that because I also run like a football player because I played football. I don't know if you play football, but American football, but the shoulders look a little stiff, perhaps. But not horrible. Not horrible. Okay. Next. What's up, doggy? My dogs just got in. Okay. This is him. Lane 4. Time of 21:06, so pretty close to a PR. Okay, here we are, lane 4. If you're curious what a 20.200 looks like, we're about to find out. I'm going to let it play it all the way through, but very first thing I want to see is what the blocks look like, just because I'm curious. Yeah, I think that can be more attached to that back pedal, although it's not horrible. It should be more like your front pedal is nice and stuck there. You know what? I like it. I don't want to be too picky. I like it. This guy doesn't do it either. Yeah, there's some stuff to clean up with your blocks. As well as the guy in lane 5. But let's watch. Sorry. Teaser. We want a little volume for this one. Hopefully there's no music. Okay, so it looks like lane 5 or lane 6 won that one. Again, steep competition in Texas. Here's what I could tell you about the 200. Now, you know that guy is fast, right? I mean, he's got lane 5. This is a championship meet, so they're seeded based on times. It's not random seeding. Shouldn't be, at least. So that guy, my goal as lane 4, I understand that this guy is fast. My goal is to be on his hip as fast as possible. As fast as possible, I want to be on lane 5's hip, right? Let him pull me along the turn. Let him put some pressure on him. Let him know that I'm right here and we running today. All these things are important to do. It looks like you got up on him for a few meters and then, stop the progression. Now, this guy in lane 7, he's moving. This is what I'm talking about. The guy in lane 7 is on the hip of the guy in lane 8. And the guy behind him, he put him on notice. He said, "Oh, you're not catching me." Right. And then what happens? He comes off the turn in the lead. Okay. So our advice to our boys and girls, quite blurry. This is you. That's Himothy. I need you to be off. I need you to be in the lead off the turn too. At the very least, I need you even with everyone. But ideally, you're winning the race from off the turn. Okay, you win off the turn, you win the race. Think about it that way. Now, who actually won this race? I think it was either lane 5 or the guy that's in the lead right now. Oh, actually, lane 5 won and you got second. Okay. So if you beat lane 5 off this turn, did you? Nope, he's a little bit ahead of you. You beat him off that turn, you win that race. Okay. He's just a little bit ahead of you. Okay. So that's how you go get a 20 point, and that's how you win that race. So good luck. I know you have a lot more coming up. To compete for state in Texas is going to be challenging, but you got it. You got it, man. Okay. Moving on. Let's see here. Adam must have been in the DMs. Adam Zane. Yes. Yes. Adam Zane. Okay. Shout out Adam. I don't know where you live, but you have look at these blocks. Okay, this is dedication right here. Okay, now there's a lot here that we need to fix. Okay, Adam. The head has to be relaxed. It doesn't have to be all the way chin to chest, but it's got to be relaxed. The back can't have this arch in it. I need a straight back. Those hands are flat. You have to come up off of those flat palms. Okay, not a bad push. But you do just like the theme of today, you get small here on this second step. This is a good push initial, and then it's like your drive stops. You stop driving and pushing the track behind you, and you try to get straight into speed. Okay. And as a result, that makes you small, Adam. Small. I don't know many people that are out there with cinder blocks for their block starts. So, you know, everybody go get like Adam, put in work. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah. So you submitted this one. It's a slow-mo video of the first one, and maybe that's the best video to see, because you can see how small you get after the initial push. Nice, small, 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 small. Okay, that seems to be the theme for these block starts. Yeah. Okay, got to work on that drive. So, same advice: go slow, then go fast. Who else we got? Sean, where you at? Another victim of trying to be so fast that they end up being small. A very obvious answer example too, because he's a tall athlete. So this is Sean. Where is he at? Okay, that's Sean, 6'4". Watch out! Watch the small strides. Okay, real small, real tight, and here comes everyone else in the race whenever they shouldn't be anywhere near you. Okay, Sean knows this. Sean and I talk frequently, and he's working on it. And I gave him the same advice that I gave Casey and Kim Jong-un and who was the other guy? Adam, which is to start slow, start open with your strides, powerful. By slow, I mean 75%, 80%, and then progressively get faster over there over time. So this is Sean again. You can see it too, right? Can you see the change? There's like, let's see how many steps are good. 1, 2, 3. And then he gets really small and really tight, right? The good thing is he's working on it. And this is how it comes. This is just how the game goes, right? You work for 4 months and you get 4 good steps, but then the rest of your race is crap. And then you keep working, and then half your race is good, the other half is not good, and then you finish. Finally, after 3 years, you learn what you're doing. Like that's just the game. So this is a much better start than I've seen him do. Look how that was nice, explosive push off those blocks. Boom. And what is he doing? He's covering ground. Look at that. Covering ground. That's 3. And then look how small these steps become. 4, 5. And he stands straight up. Okay. He's trying so hard that everything's even. He's trying to drive, but he stood up. Because he knows he's supposed to drive, but he stood up basically right now. Right, 6 meters down the track, he's standing up straight, but he knows he's supposed to drive, so he's got this awkward forward lean, but it's just hurting the strides again, short strides. So again, Sean's working on it, going slow to go fast, being open because he's 6'4". Once he learns to be open, great things will happen. I don't know if you guys saw that Galkout thing with his coach. Same advice. If I tried to make him, she goes like, if I tried to make him really fast right now, I'd break him. So we got to go slow, and we have to learn how to be open and tall and posture, and then I can speed him up. It's the same advice that Usain Bolt, same playbook. It just is the truth, and there's no shortcuts to getting better. So that's part of the process. Okay. So that was Sean. Sean knows what to do. Now, Jace, this is a great story actually from Jace, because where's your race at, Jace? Where are you? Here you go. So Jace was one, he's a 400-meter runner, and he came to me and showed me his video, and it was excellent. He's great for his age group. But when he finished his 400, he was quite tight. Let me see if this is it. He fought fatigue when the race is ending. Look, I think this is it. Okay. So that's Jace. Excellent 400-meter runner. But look at him fighting. Okay, he's fighting fatigue. You can't fight fatigue. And as a result, the guy next to him who stays relaxed comes to get him at the end of the race. Now, if Jace stayed relaxed, kept his posture, and kept his turnover, he would have won that race. And we're going to see the same thing in this 100-meter. And then the next time we do live, I'll show you the improvement that he made that helped him PR in the 100 and 400, because he learned how to stay relaxed, stay tall, and keep his turnover. But the 100 is just another, it's going to be obvious again that how much he's fighting, right? The 100 is more, you get punished more for mistakes. You have to be mistake free in the 100. 400, you get away with a lot of mistakes because the race is longer. The 100 is difficult because it punishes you right away. If you run like Jace ran his 400, you're going to end up getting tight. You're going to end up hitting a wall at 60 meters, even though it's 100 meters. And you go, I didn't even know the 100 had a wall. Look at Jason, lane 3, fighting. Head back, arms all over the place. Okay. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. You just have to learn to find peace inside of your racing. Your dry phase was way too short, by the way. These triangles are at 10 meters, and you've popped up before the 10-meter mark. If you learn how to drive in the 100 and the 400, your races are going to be much easier, I promise. You won't break down like you've been breaking down, because Jace goes, and Jace is out of his dry phase at 9 meters, 8 meters. It's supposed to be 30 meters down the track, so that's a big point that you can improve in. Okay. Nice open strides, right? You don't have the same problem of being trying to be so fast that you're small with your strides. You have a nice open stride, but what happens is you get out of sync when you begin to fight instead of staying relaxed and keeping your turnover. Okay. So like I said, Jace did implement that advice of staying relaxed and keeping your turnover, and he was able to PR in his 100 and 400. So that's great. And last but not least, Henry Momo. Sorry, Henry Momo. Let me see what he says. Okay, so Henry shared video with me. I said what it looks like to me is that you have a slow ground reaction time. I asked him about plyometrics. He's got the green spike. So he runs 11.79-ish, 24 mid, and 54.3. He's 17. I actually want to highlight this because this is the biggest thing for him. And for a lot of athletes, I'm highlighting it because it's not just him. So I told him a few problems I see. Too few meets. Inconsistency leads to volatility. So our track team has 12 to 15 meets, and Henry has 3 meets per season. That's a big difference. So especially with the fact that he came back this year and hasn't broken his times from last year. Well, you only had 3 chances. That's not enough. Okay. So I see a lot of time people try to rush the process of getting fast. Hey, I have league in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks. What can I do? It's like, okay, well, what does your season look like? It's like, I haven't competed yet. Well, what you could do is run more and compete more. That's going to be very helpful. 3 meets is nothing, essentially, right? It's basically nothing. Takes you 6 meets to get warmed up for the season, right? Racing is a skill. It's a craft that's different from practicing and training hard, they're both equally important. But if you don't have racing skills, by the time you get in the race, you're not going to do well. Okay, see it all the time. All the time, people crumble under racing because it's different. It is not the same as running fast. So that's what I told them. Let's watch. Henry Momo, green spikes. Yeah. So same to you. You that head has to be relaxed, or you can't be in the blocks doing this. Okay. Relax the head. But what is good about this is that you're looking out here instead of straight down. That is good. I don't know that I like these block settings for you. Something looks weird. I don't know what it is. I'll look at your other video and see what's weird about it. Good. Good. Not horrible. Okay, so Henry's problem isn't the distance he covers, it's the amount of time it takes him to cover that distance, ground reaction time. So look at how soft this foot is upon landing, the ankle. That's a soft ankle upon landing. Okay. Same with this ankle over here, soft upon landing, not rigid. Now there's going to be flex in every sprinter, but like let's watch it at regular speed. It's very obvious to me, at least. Yeah. So again, this is totally a sign of just not enough reps, not well trained. Okay. You're very soft on impact, which is not good for sprinting. It's like punching a heavy bag and your wrist just collapses every time. You want to be stiff when you punch. You don't want your wrist to be. That's what your ankle is basically doing when you hit. Maybe a bad analogy. Maybe it makes sense to you, but that's what I see. That's why your ground reaction time is slow. Outside of that, a few technical things with the blocks, but overall, you're covering good distance. Just how do we make that faster? Is that even something that you're capable of? Not because of your athletic ability, just because of your genetics or whatever it may be. Maybe that is the fastest that you can react to the ground. My advice would probably be that you stay away from the 100, because those guys have natural ability to strike the ground and get right off. A lot of factors to identify, but yeah, not the biggest fan of your blocks. If you haven't seen the Block Start checklist, definitely check it out. See if it helps. See if it doesn't. Let me know either way. Look cold. I don't know where you at. I look cold. I'm sure you told me, actually. I think he's in DC. Did you tell me that? Let's go starter. Yeah, a little bit awkward. A little bit awkward, but my belief is that it's because you have little amount of reps. You have 3 meets on the whole season. That's I said it already, but that's basically nothing. Especially if you like, okay, if you have 10 years, 15 years of experience and you're coming back from injury and you only have 3 meets to prepare for worlds or whatever, that's different than being a high school kid who's brand new to track and you only have 3 meets per season. That's not enough. 6 meets probably isn't enough. 10 meets is like, okay, we're getting somewhere, but you could do much better with 15. Track seasons are long, because you really don't get into rhythm until your 6th meet. Ooh, I smelled dinner. Yum. You're kind of all over the place inside of the lane, which again for me is totally about experience. But overall doesn't look too bad. Oh yeah, that's you. Yeah, you're covering great distance. You might be a great jumper. You should try jumping. Jumping, you have to be fast, but by definition, a jump is a longer ground contact time than a sprint. So you already have that down. And look at how open you are. Look how much distance you cover. Okay. I think you can actually be a great jumper. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to sprint. I'm just giving you something else that you might be good at. Okay, you're leaning back too much for me. Shoulders down, forward, shoulders down. Your shoulders are back here. Okay. I think, again, a big reason why. Okay, those shoulders have to come forward here. A big reason why you're doing that is because you don't have the right hip flexor strength or psoas strength to you have great form, but you don't have the correct strength because you don't have enough meets and enough experience. Okay. So Henry, I would focus on some plyometrics to help you with that. Some ankle hops, which are how do I get back to normal? Okay, this sprint mastery course, where are they? This ankle hop series, these mini plyometrics, I would highly recommend them for you, as well as jump rope, as well as bounding, as well as sled pulls. Those things will be very helpful to aid you in getting a bit faster ground reaction time. That's what you're focused on. So a lot of your training should be minimizing the time spent on the ground. When you do things like plyos, when you do things like sled pulls, just because they're sled pulls doesn't mean that I want you grinding them out. It's not about grinding, right? It's like, yes, it is a grind to get good, but I want you focused on tapping more, tap, 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 and stiff ankles, calf raises, static lifts. My homie who's a weight coach told me about, I forget the name of it, but have you seen track people lift? They lift almost on their toes. They always have it's called knee behind butt, one knee behind the butt, and the toes are more in a track position. What's good, J Money? How's it going? You got film, J Money? You want me to review some film? Okay. So when you watch track people lift, they're normally always on the toe, and they always have, right, whether it's lunges or split squats or split press or things like that. You want to work that rigidity into your routine. Okay, Henry? That was a lot, but watch it back. You got it. You got it. You'll be solid once you learn how to hit a bit more stiff on the ground. A good plyometric day is going to do you wonders. Okay. Yo, what's good? J Money. J Money, if you have film you want me to review, or anyone for that matter, you come over to, not here, Speed Lab. Okay, this is where you submit your film. You go right here, type in please help. Okay, then you click down here and you can attach a link or a video or an attachment, and then you select film review and you post it there. And then when I go, I need to stream today, I come here and I click film review, and these are all the film reviews that I need to go over. There's still some people that I need to go over. So, but if you can always DM me as well. It's just I have a harder time. This is very organized. I just click film review. Here it is. If you DM me your film, there's a high likelihood that I will not review it live. I'll give you feedback in the DMs, but for me to go to multiple places to watch film, I don't know about that. Okay. So if J Money is gone, doesn't have film anymore, I'm gonna end it. Anybody else watching got film? Casey, you there? Why not? If you're here, I got one treat. Sorry, I don't have film. Yeah, what's your question? J Money has a question. What is it? Okay, so this is a special treat that I won't share anywhere other than live because I don't like to take the high school kids that I coach in person and put them on the channel that often. But here's a race that we can watch, and we'll just watch it.
And here we go. Here they come down the final stretch here on the track.
So that was a 10:58 or something like that. Look how patient they all are in their dry phase, right? This is something we reinforce highly every practice. Patient dry phase. Everybody's patient. Everybody comes up. They reaccelerate. Finish strong through the line. Yeah, we were at 10:58 that day or something like that. Okay. So those are some of the athletes that I coach in person. We got Casey here. J Money says, what should sprinters do right after the season and then during summer? That's a great question. How old are you? After season, you should take time off, assuming that you had a lengthy season, or you should be running summer track. Summer track is going to be excellent for you. Then after summer track, you take a real break if you did not take one after spring season. Then after that, it's way more focused on general conditioning, but maybe not in the way that you may be thinking of what conditioning is. Okay, I'll show you. Hold on. And strength training. Okay, for all the 15, I'm about to finish my freshman season. It was fairly long with weekly competition. Okay. Do you do summer track as well? Do you do football, American football, or even European football, soccer? Do you do any other sports? Okay, so as much as I give my homie mess about weight training, and because we're American, so weight training is a big thing for us, but it overshadows sprint training often. But now is the time to do that. So we're speaking of off-season things right now, right? We have this question: what should sprinters do right after season and then summer? Well, you take a month if you're like an elite sprinter. You take a couple weeks off if you're like a high school kid who can respond to everything without getting injured. Because old people, we got to take time off. And even young people, like, it just depends so much on your biology and what you're able to handle and everything like that. Okay, so this is going to be like peak season. Okay, this can be like pre-season or even early. I don't do any other sports and don't do a club, but there's weekly meets at my local stadium. I would suggest that you go to as many meets as possible over the summer, especially if you're new. You're 15, so I would suggest going to as many meets as possible through the summer. Okay. Then after that, take 2 weeks, 3 weeks off, go with your family, do fun stuff, whatever. And then when you come back, you have, conditioning. So this is going to be, you're 15, so you're in high school. So, we'll call it October, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, or even September to October, you do conditioning. What do I mean by conditioning is not jogging. Okay, we're not going out for runs. Out for long runs. Okay, what we will do though is 2 mile stride, straight, walk, jog, turns. Okay, a stride is just a stride equals a sprint at low percentage, right? Sprint at low percent. Should I train over summer like I was training in season, sort of intended to continue peaking max intensity since I'm competing every week? Yes. You should be focused on speed work, right? You still want to be in this part of the season. Okay. We want to work so much more speed development. Okay. Because what you work on when you work on speed is actually brain changes, right? You're changing your brain to understand what speed means through, right, receptors and grooves that we form inside our brain. Like when you learn a new language, you get grooves and patterns for that language. It's the same with speed. When you train for speed, your brain physically changes to understand what it's doing. And so if you are able to train over the summer, you get way more time changing your brain for the positive, right? It's just like more time practicing Spanish is going to help improve your Spanish. But you can't do it all the time. You definitely need these phases of the season here. Okay. I hope that made a little bit of sense. I'm just going off the top here. This isn't like, does that make sense, J Money? You could do things like hills. Okay. Great time, as I said, for what color do we want to do here? Weight room. You could spend much time getting strong, right? Strength. This is about strength. Okay. This is about speed. This is a little bit of a blend, right? This is about speed, endurance. You're also going to touch a little bit on speed as well in this time too. And you'll get some strength in as well. Okay. Maybe strength is the wrong word. Maybe actually power is the correct word. This is where you build power. Here's where we focus on strength more. Okay. So as you plan your workouts, you should join the Speed Lab and just see what's in there. But as you plan your workouts, right, we'll call this, we want to stay in this range. Maybe we get to 3,200 meters. And this means sprinting. Now, obviously, you're not going to sprint a mile or definitely not a 2 mile. But what you're going to do is do things like this, or you do 150s, walk 50, 150, things like that, where you can add up the total to 1600 meters or 2400 meters. So I don't know how many 150s that is. I mean, 10 150s would be 1500 meters. So that works, you know. But that's this time, September to October. Excuse me. Yeah, it starts around here and it goes all the way through. We'll call it December, around December. Okay, so from December to, depends on what goal you have and when you want to peak. We'll say to February about. Okay, we can get away with some, like, you know, 300s, something like that, 250s, plyos, sleds, hills, getting into the grind. Okay, the weight room shifts to power, shifts away from strength to power, 5x5, 3x5, things like that. Okay, and then what do we want to work here? We'll call it, like, that would be 1500 meters. So, you know, you can get away with like 1,000 meters of total volume sprinting. Again, this is just off the top of my head. Like, I'm sure when I look back at this, I'm going to say, why did you say that? That's not the way to do it. I would do it this way, whoop-de-whoop. But this is kind of how it goes, right? So the total volume sprinting could be something like 1,000 meters, right? Which might be 3 times 300. But if you're going to do it, then they're at, 90%. They're at a highish percentage. Okay. That's another thing around this area. It's going to be, 75% to 90% max speed, right? When you're working in this area, you're going to be, 70 to 80% max speed. And then when you move up the ladder, peak season, these are 95, 100% max speed, right? So the total volume sprinting might be 1,000 meters to, what would we call that? Maybe around 2,000 meters. We'll say 2,400, but we shouldn't be, that's kind of a lot. We'll say 2,000 meters. We shouldn't be touching these distances anymore as we move up this pyramid, because when we get to speed development, right, we're bringing everything down. So, we're talking 300 meters total volume to 1,000 meters, but nothing really more than that. So that means, percentage effort goes up, reps come down. Okay. But also that means rest goes up a lot, 12 to 15 minutes rest, 20 minutes rest, that kind of thing, because I want them to be super fast. Okay. It's a great question, Jay Money. I'll plan to get a free lap timing system just before summer starts to use throughout high school. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, there's a saying, which is the more ways you have to measure and to track progress, the better you'll get. So if I want to become a millionaire, the more ways that I have to track how much I spend versus how much I earn, that's going to help get me there faster. Versus if I'm just kind of wishing and hoping, like, oh, I hope I make a lot, or I hope I don't spend that much. That's better, right? In the weight room, like, oh, I think I'm getting faster. Well, have you tracked your progressions on squats or deadlifts or hyper extensions or anything? You got to track those things as well. You want your sleep to improve. You track that. Your diet, what did you eat? How did it make you feel? Those kind of things. So I say that to say, yeah, I think a free lap timing system is great for you. I guess you're making your own workouts from the sound of it. You're 15, so you should be in high school, I think, if you're in America. Okay. Like I said, J Money, you can come over for the most part. Yeah. Click the link in the description. Come over to the Speed Lab, and we can have a more thorough conversation around what you're up to and what you want your summer to look like, what it should look like. But going back to your original question, the more that chances you have to sprint as a 15-year-old, the better it is. So definitely I would sign up for summer meets. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for asking the questions. J Money, I hope you end up joining Speed Lab. But even if you don't, best of luck. And come back, ask me more questions. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Peace.